everyone, welcome back to Seduce Me. Yeah, let's just load the game. So we last left off where Diana showed up and she's threatening to hurt my friends if I don't give up the incubi. Now they're showing Damien showing me their past. What had happened? I didn't get the time to try to figure that out when a demon, who looked around my age, walked into the room reading a book. Is that...
Raestrow, your nose is stuck in those books. Will you not lift your head up from them once in a while?
Huh? That voice. I circled around the pillar to see a second demon, leaning against another pillar, smirking at Raestrow.
Aren't you supposed to be with your mother practicing the harpsichord?
I'm assuming that's James and Eric?
I am, but I had a feeling that you were in danger.
In danger?
In danger? What are you...
Attack!
Matthew? All of a sudden, three shadows zipped through the room, slammed into Raestrow, forcing him to fall to the ground and drop his book. As the sight cleared for me, there were three demons in the dog pile with Raestrow at the bottom.
Get off!
No way! You haven't had a break in months from those stupid books.
Sam.
It's time for punishment!
And here I thought they didn't get along.
Death by brotherhood! No more reading!
Damien?
I told you that you were in danger.
I suddenly knew who these demons were. It's the boys. Even in the demon world, their brotherly connection was astounding. They were merely younger versions of themselves. One of the demons, who I assumed was Matthew, grabbed the book from the floor and opened it, reading it mockingly.
How can you read this, Raestrow? It's all about war strategy. It's boring!
I have to, Zakaru! Get off!
There's only one thing you need to know about strategy. Kill them all! Take no prisoners!
You sound just like Father.
I couldn't help but giggle. It was cute to see them acting childish with each other. Eventually, James managed to push his brothers off of him and stand brushing himself off.
You all are reckless.
At least we have fun.
It's true. You haven't been with us in weeks. Don't you think it's time for a break?
I'm sure Father won't mind.
But I have to...
I know you want to, Raestrow.
Damn it.
What is going on here?
Oh crap. I shot my head to the voice to see the commander, aged a little, staring at the boys with his arms crossed across his chest. Damien quickly dashed and hid behind Sam, peeking over his shoulder to see the large commander.
Nothing is going on. We just passed by each other.
Then why does your brother have your book?
I was showing him what I was learning, Father.
Return to your studies, Raestrow. The rest of you out of my sight. Do not disturb your brother again.
Sounds like Dad. Poor James. I could only stare as James gently took his book and, without looking at the brothers, returned to reading. The commander walked away, The commander walked past the remaining brothers, growling at Sam and Damien before leaving the room. What was up with that?
Don't worry about it. We'll find a way to get him back.
I don't know. He's on a very tight leash.
Ezreal, you're quiet. What did you hear?
He's going to a negotiation meeting. He's going to arrange a marriage.
A marriage? For who?
It must be for one of us.
He hasn't decided who will marry her. It's a girl from a kingdom he wants to take over.
But that's uncharacteristic of him. Usually he'd just attack with the army.
Whatever the case is, one of us is getting married.
I hope it isn't me.
What about Ray Strau? He's the eldest.
It would make sense, but having a succubus marrying one of us means that she'll be practically married to all of us.
Well, what should we do?
Before the conversation could continue, the boys vanished into thin air, fading into different colored mists. Replacing them was an older Damien and Matthew sitting with each other in the middle of the throne room.
Do you think we should?
That's how their demon form looks like. It's not that bad. I don't see why they didn't want her to see when he transformed during the whole Malik situation. They're kind of cute.
I really want to.
I want to as well. Still, it'll be hard to convince Raistero, since he's the one about to be married and he's the favorite.
We don't know that, Zakeru. Maybe she's set to marry you.
I did not know Damien was a tease.
No way! I don't want to get married.
I don't think you'll have a problem with that baby face of yours.
It's weird because I'm pretty sure Damien's the youngest, and yet he looks way bigger. Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense sometimes that younger siblings surpass their older siblings sometimes. I looked over to see Sam join the duo, crossing his arms and raising an eyebrow at his brothers.
What are you two talking about?
We got into contact with the human world again.
Come on, Ezreal. You give humans too much attention.
No way, you gotta listen. They apparently have stores and books and schools and stuff.
So what? It's full of humans who piss on each other for no reason. They're no better than the devil spawn.
Well, I see how you feel, Sam.
Nuh-uh, the one we were talking to wasn't like that.
And who might this human be?
How do you know, Zakeru?
Because I do!
What is going on here?
They want to go to the human world.
The human world?
Raistero, think about it. You won't have to marry that girl and be the heir anymore. You could be with us, and we could make lives for ourselves in the new world.
Now you're just talking nonsense.
I vote that we do it.
Huh? Oh, not you two.
Think about it. This may be our chance to finally get away from this political nonsense we're stuck in. We may be nobles, but we're still our own beings.
Ristrao is in.
What? Ezreal!
Whoa, so how do we get there?
Are you kidding me? You don't even know how we'd get there.
A simple spell should work, but it would require someone from the human world to help us get there.
Interesting.
We can ask him.
Him? Grandfather?
Oh, he'd definitely help us.
I'm not so sure about...
Raistra, aren't you tired of pleasing Father all of the time?
I am, but...
If you stay, you'll be married off and become ruler of Father's kingdom. You'll have no time for yourself or with us, and you'll be constantly at war with the other realms for power. You'll most likely turn into the spitting image of Father.
What he's saying is, get your head out of your ass and let's go. If you don't say yes, I'll drag your princely ass with us. I don't care what that bastard of a father wants.
That's so sweet. I really didn't think they got along, but I guess they did. And they're always looking out for each other. Aww. But what about their moms?
Come on, Raistero.
All right, let's do this. What's the plan?
I couldn't believe what was happening. I was seeing the entire process of their life before my eyes. They were nobles, and James was the heir to the kingdom of the commander ruled. Even more so, he was going to be married to Diana. They sacrificed everything to leave and be together. They'd rather be free versus being in their noble roles. I started to feel a little jealous. They were able to leave while I was still expected to be with what my father wanted me to be. How they were able to leave was uncertain still, but I knew I would learn in time. I closed my eyes and mentally asked Damien to end the mission. As soon as I asked, the world around me slowly vanished, and I was brought back into the bedroom where I sat with my head nestled in Damien's hands. My vision began to clear, letting me fully see the boys around me, all with concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we are.
I guess I should have expected that, especially when they were talking about a castle. I didn't think they were like royalty. Diana is the girl you arranged to marry?
Not anymore. Once we left, the arrangement was broken. With no sons to marry off, her dad couldn't go through with the marriage deal.
If Diana is here for us, that means she's trying to save her kingdom from being attacked.
That's not true. She wants to rule our kingdom. Having one of us will give her the right to our kingdom, as much as we'd have right over hers.
So she's a gold digger!
Well, with a kingdom like ours, what succubus wouldn't want to marry us for it?
Interesting. It all made sense. She wanted them to finally take over an opposing kingdom. She knew that, despite her power, she wouldn't be able to fight it versus their father, so she had to find another way in. That manipulative... Before I could continue, I felt my head suddenly get heavy and dizzy. I gripped my head, mewing under my breath. Oh, what the...
I took too much. I'm so sorry.
Rest now. There's no need to do anything more today.
The boy suddenly rushed over and helped me lay back down as my vision was painted in white polka dots. I needed sleep badly. Instantly, I closed my eyes and let darkness consume me. After what seemed like hours, I finally woke up, slightly refreshed. My body knew that if I slept any longer, I'd be up all night, which was not part of the plan of the day. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, letting a soft groan escape my lips. In response, something beside my bed shuffled, causing me to look over. I didn't know what I was expecting. Beside me, sitting in a chair beside the bed, was Damien, rousing himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes. That's sweet of him.
Oh, you're awake. How do you feel?
Better. Damien nodded before he looked down at the bed, taking my hands to his.
I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Damien, it's not your fault.
No, it is. I was the one who wanted to come to the human world. I convinced the others to come with. If I never did that, we'd never have put you in danger like this.
True. I quickly reached over and put my fingers on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. Damien, it's okay. I want to help you out. I offered to let you all stay. Nothing is your fault. I gently moved my hand and cupped Damien's cheeks, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about the whole ordeal. Diana was desperate, and she'd hunt any one for them. It wasn't his fault she was desperate enough to hunt them down. One thing bothered me, though. Why did his dad scorn him? Why did Damien want to run away? The others seemed a little obvious, but Damien was a mystery. However, before I could be vocally curious. However, Damien gently held my head in his hands. Damien? Damien frowned and simply held me.
I'll show you everything.
Damien let a small laugh, a hint of depression lingering in the breath he let out, before he focused his energy into my head. My vision blurred, and suddenly I was back in the demon castle. I expected to see Damien wandering around in the halls with his brothers. However, I found him alone, sitting at the foot of the throne, curled into a ball in tears. The room smelt of blood, but my eyes couldn't look away from the tearful Damien. Damien... I knew he couldn't hear me, but I instinctively called out to him. He looked lonely. Where were his brothers?
Why are you crying?
My grandfather! I knew it! Damien picked his head up suddenly as I did. Grandfather?
Who are you? What do you want?
I just want to know if you're okay.
Who are you?
Don't be afraid. I'm just a friend.
Friend?
I stared in complete shock. When did my grandfather knew them? Everything started to go on fast forward. I saw Damien talking to the voice of my grandfather, seeing his sad face go from happy to surprised to fascinated in a cycle randomly. There were even moments when Matthew joined him, letting Damien speak for the voice in the air. It was all unbelievable. Here my grandfather spoke of the human world, painting it into a beautiful world full of opportunity. How did my grandfather know all about all of this? What was going on? My mind slightly spun at the idea that my grandfather delved into magic and demons. Eventually, the world around me slowed down to see the boys standing before the empty throne. They looked determined, stout, and ready for something to happen. Damien stepped forward and held his hand out to the throne.
O tenebris portas, aperiat nobis, laudiet horexitum, desiderium.
My grandfather started to chant a phrase unfamiliar to me, letting it rupture into the air around the boys. Gusts of wind started to brush through the room like a storm rushing in. No! I missed another text line. Oh well. No way! That's... Quickly, Sam rushed over and dove his hand through the tear, pulling it open and making it larger, revealing the Pink Lady Cafe with my grandfather on the other side. My grandfather held out his hand, ushering the boys to come.
Hurry up, boys! I can't hold it open for long!
Instantly, the boys ran through the tear, climbing through and almost crashing into the tables and chairs of the cafe. I felt myself move through it as well, joining them as the grandfather closed the portal. The boys looked around the space, almost mystified at the sight. My grandfather laughed, out of breath, before sitting down at one of near my tables.
There now. Welcome to the human world, boys. Let's see. Kay, make us some coffee, please. These boys need a drink.
I turned to see Kay, the owner of the cafe, and the only other person in the room besides the boys, smile and quickly get to work on making coffee. I was dumbfounded. She knew about them? I felt myself get dizzy at the thought, but I shook my head out and tried to focus on what was going on. My grandfather looked at the boys up and down before chuckling again. The boys must have still been speechless.
You'll need a spell to cover yourselves up. Humans don't exactly have horns or parade around naked.
Oh. The boys looked at each other before collectively nodding and focusing their energies. Before my eyes, they went from demons to human-looking demons. They looked to each other, ecstatic at their new looks. My grandfather, however, cleared his throat and brought the attention back to him.
Now don't be rude to Kay now. Sit and enjoy some coffee. It's the best in town.
The boys obeyed, obviously in his debt. I looked to Damien's face, and he was almost in tears with joy. I could tell that he was beyond happy to be in the human world. I almost felt like crying for him, but I couldn't understand why. Maybe it was his facial expressions, or maybe it was because I would meet him soon after this fact. Eventually, Damien stopped the magic, lowering his hands and letting me come back to reality. I held on to Damien, who kept a hold of me and to make sure I didn't faint. Everything felt so wrong, and yet it all made sense at the same time. My grandfather knew magic. My grandfather helped the boys. He cast a spell on the mansion and on me to protect me.
I was the one who convinced everyone to come to the human world. I was also the one who asked that man, your grandfather, to bring us.
So he helped you come through? What happened after?
He gave us a wallet full of fake IDs and maps of the world. He told us to go anywhere we wanted and that he would pay for everything so we wouldn't have to use our magic. It was like he made us human.
Damien laughed nostalgically. I could tell he was happy remembering how my grandfather helped him. I still couldn't wrap my head around it, but the answer I wanted was 6 feet under and unreachable right now. You really wanted to be human. Damien looked at me, his eyes glimmering in both hope and shame.
More than anything, I still want to be human. I don't mean just in looks. Everything.
Damien looked to his hands, lowering them to the bed between us.
Humans don't read minds. Humans don't hurt people like demons do. I didn't ask to be a demon. I want to learn things, go places, and not have to be bound by magic or anything.
Oh man, cry. I stared. It was pitiful to see him like this. He looked almost like a child, begging me for something he really wanted. I wanted to help somehow. I just didn't know how. I'm gonna stop here because, I'm gonna start getting emotional. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!